You're walking through a crowded street, and you notice a stranger staring at you. You lock eyes. They pull out their phone and quickly snap a photo of you. By the time you're home, you've got an email in your inbox that seems to know you a little too well. Over the next few days, you get calls that are creepily specific and personal.
Hello?
Hello, Natalie.
Your privacy, once a given, now feels like a relic of a bygone era. This is not a scene from a dystopian novel, but a reality that technology can make feasible today. We'll explore how Google could let someone virtually unmask you with a single click, and why Google restricts its power from the regular person. But what do you mean, you may ask? I can Google people. Look, I'm Googling Sundar Pichai, Google CEO, right now. And, of course, you can Google for non-famous people in your personal life. But Google's goal, at least on the consumer end, is to index and find information. And the classic Google text search is not the only or even necessarily the most powerful way to find information anymore. We've had Google reverse image search, and now that's been superseded by the increasingly impressive Google Lens. So let's explore the current abilities and limitations of Google, and what would happen if Google lifted all its restrictions. Every person on Earth has been born into a lottery. Its prize, for most of us, is barely in our control, for it is our parents and fate that led to its results. And the prize is how creepy Google search is for us. This lottery is the name lottery. Say your name is the classic John Smith. Well done, you've won a prize, being hidden from Google. Look here, we've got a politician, an explorer, a musician, and countless other famous and not so famous John Smiths. If your name is John Smith and someone wants to socially engineer you, if they don't have some serious qualifying information, they will struggle to find anything useful on Google. Thus, they must know some private information about you. And even so, if they did, it doesn't necessarily help find other pages. If they know your company, for instance, they may find your LinkedIn, but this information will be unlikely to help them find any other interest groups you're a part of. Or maybe your name is a little rarer, like Selena Gomez. Well, you've got a massive shield covering your identity on Google, in the shape of this singer, who in the eyes of almost everyone searching the name, is the Selena Gomez. Search for the name on another platform, like LinkedIn for instance, and you'll see all these other Selena Gomez's who are hidden from Google search. Now what about the flip side? What if you have a super rare name, like Nathaniel Schmuckel?
Hell no, man. What the
Obviously this is a fake name, but look here, 0 results. So if Nathaniel Schmuckel were born now, any reference to that name would necessarily be linked to him. Anyone who he meets would find all the public sites associated with his name, as Google indexes all public text. And such rare names occur often for people from small cultures, or increasingly, those with vain parents. Thus, we're all players in this name lottery. On the one end, you have near total privacy in Google, but an impossibility to build an online presence based on your name. On the other end, the viewers with rare names will know just how creepy Google can be in finding and making public information about you. The silver lining is that building an online presence becomes much easier. So classic Google search for people is, in a sense, unlimited, but this isn't all of Google. And if Google Lens for people were unlimited, then every single person would fall in the same category as a living Nathaniel Schmuckel. Let's look at Google Lens and see what this would mean in practice. Google Lens lets you search via images as opposed to text. For instance, say we saw this picture and wanted to learn more about the shirt he's wearing. Oh look, here we have the brand of the top. Not on sale, as the image is almost 3 years old, but we have the brand, Versace, and various alternatives that look similar, listed with absolutely tiny profit margins, along with other related designer and non-designer choices. And now what if we try to look at his face? Now we know this is Bruno Mars. We know the exact one of 8 billion people that this is. And you can try the same with any celebrity. This isn't particularly notable, as each famous person has a well-defined identity and reams of public information about them. But famous people, by virtue of their public presence, have images widely disseminated with their consent. However, few are born famous, and by default, people have an expectation of privacy. So what happens if we look for someone not so famous? Keeping with the theme, let's go onto the Versace clothing site and find a model. As a model, especially for a brand as prestigious as Versace, we can reasonably expect they would have had many gigs, and thus have their face on many websites. But yet, what's this? Results for people are limited? Actively limited? The technology is clearly there, and for this guy and many other people, so is the data to build a model of their face. Just look at Google Lens on celebrities, the iOS ability to recognize private faces, and government facial recognition technologies. So why can't we Google people? Well, let's consider the possibilities this would open up, moving from least to most sinister. Firstly, we could find the social media profiles of this person and other information he would have made public. Thus, even though the model's name is nowhere on the website, we would find their name by using Google Lens. Then, Depending on the privacy settings, we could scrape all sorts of personal data from their Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Pinterest, etc. That's birthdays, jobs, addresses, interests, and so on. And with access to the accounts themselves, it opens up the door to stalking and harassment. It only gets worse from here. Secondly, we could find info that they didn't post, but they've consented others to post. Let's say this person practiced good privacy and kept their profile information mostly hidden from strangers. Maybe instead, they volunteered at a local youth centre and consented to have their photo uploaded in a blog for the centre. They likely only consented with the assumption that this would be only accessed by local people, as in ones who actually know of the local youth centre. Instead, it is now easily navigated to by anyone who has a picture of him. Now, given it's his local youth centre, I would know his rough area of living. I would know some of his interests. I would know some other people that he knows, whose faces of course I can pull from the images and put onto Google Lens myself. And with a few more of these types of things, a very, very detailed profile of someone can be built. Thirdly, we could find information that you've not even necessarily consented to having been posted of you. For instance, you may appear in a YouTube or TikTok thumbnail. Maybe you're in the background of someone's blog, in a cafe perhaps, and now I know more about your location, places you frequent, and general habits. Or perhaps you've had a moment of madness and did something embarrassing on camera. Well now, even without any articles being written about you, this can be easily found. Fourthly, we could find information that others have made of you. Maybe it's truthful exposure, or maybe it's fake defamation. Either way, it risks reputational damage that may have professional or personal consequences. Let's say you're up against a particularly resourceful and immoral fellow applicant for a job role. Just using a picture in Google Lens, they can find out exactly who you are and create a fake article to smear your reputation. If the employer does a final check of the candidates through research online, this may sway them towards the other candidate, costing you a job. Fifthly, in a similar vein, someone could make deepfakes of you. The face, which is your identity, which is being searched, has now been added to an image or video that isn't you. The potential damage of embarrassment, blackmail, and reputational damage are immense. And lastly, which I hinted at earlier, this ability is unlimited. Anyone could do this to anyone. You could go down the street, or be in a train carriage, or at some event. Anywhere. You can snap a photo of someone's face and find all of the above information and inflict any of the above actions. The possibilities for stalkers, fraudsters, and social engineers would increase massively. You'd have to be on the lookout for cameras, as anyone, absolutely anyone, could snap a picture of your face and find your name, area, job, interests, and associated family or friends. This is a techno-dystopian level of power, but available to every person. While we can Google names, and depending on the rarity of your name, you have varying levels of privacy, we cannot Google Lens the faces of regular people. And this is for the best, as it would be like giving every single person a unique identifier and attaching it to their online identities, making it trivial for strangers to link together all your digital traces to build up a very clear picture of you, your habits, your network, and your weaknesses. No thank you. The benefits are mild, and the risks in drastically easing social engineering, fraud, and stalking are huge. I'm glad we can't Google people. Let's just hope there aren't any Google employees with access to experimental unlimited people search. What could they do with it? What would you do with such power? Let me know in the comments. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video to improve your algorithm.